Okay, so this is the level of idiocy that I go to film stuff, because the wife keeps telling me film everything, and a certain Mr. B. So yeah, that's carpet behind there, so it's gone through at the side as well. Bollocks. All of this is filler. This is filler. Oh, I don't know. I just don't know whether it's worth doing. Right then, guys, welcome back to another video. You join us in the modern thing. We are doing some errands before a bit of work on Mindy. No, Maggy.
Maggy today.
Maggy. Mindy's not playing ball. She's not very happy because the weather's a little bit cold and wet, and she didn't want to play the game. So she's tucked up in the carcoon at the minute, and I'll get to her when I've got time. But
and when it's not raining.
And when it's not peeing it down and horrible and just generally bleh. So we're going to have a look at ripping those air fresheners off and putting them in the bin. We're going to have a look at Maggy today. So we need to go and do a couple of errands first. I've got to get some sheet steel to do the welding on the chassis rail, because while the engine is out, it's easier to get to. So Dave's really busy at the minute. Obviously, he's got younger kids. He's you know, coming up to Christmas. It's just a busy time for him at the minute. So we're going to do newbie learns to weld another day.
I think it's just an excuse because he doesn't want to come out in the rain.
Yeah, I think you might be right. So yeah, we're going to go and get some sheet steel, and then I can do the welding on Maggy. So it's just a case of cleaning it out. The good thing on the Morris Minors is when you lift the plate to get to the gearbox, there is direct access to the chassis rails, the inner chassis rails, and I can see where the screwdriver was going through when we took the gearbox out. So it's just a case of cutting it out, welding a plate in to repair the damage, and obviously as I grind the damage back, I'll probably find more and more and more, but if it starts getting to the point where I find more and more, I'll just tar it over with a little bit of hammerite, and we'll call it fixed. So yeah, that's today's plan. Then do some Scotch Brighting, and when I say Scotch Brighting, I mean Eileen's going to do some Scotch Brighting.
Oh, am I?
Yeah, because it's a boring job and I hate it, so you're good with that sort of stuff.
Great, thanks.
So that's going to get done, and then it'll allow us to paint. And everybody knows the best time to paint a car is when it's damp, wet and cold. That's definitely the best time to do it.
But that's the only time we get time.
Yeah,
so,
unfortunately it is. And the thing is, it's not the end of the world. The problem is, as long as the area that you're working on is dry, which it will be. I've borrowed the gazebo off Dave again, so we're going to put that up when we get back. Give it time to be able to dry off. And as long as it goes on to warm steel, which I'll heat it up with the heat gun, we'll be able to paint it. It just takes longer to dry, that's all, and there's a chance of blooming if it gets cold. But fortunately, we're sitting at around 10 degrees at the minute, which is about right. You don't really want to be going much lower than that, because you'll start getting the paint bloom.
It's almost tropical.
It's almost tropical, yeah. Since the last few days have been like -3, it's been it's pretty good. So yeah, we're going to then paint the engine bay and then give that time to flash off. So that'll probably be a couple of days or so, I would think, and then we can get the engine back in. So there's a good few videos coming up. You've got the welding, which we're going to do today. You've got the engine bay prep. You've got painting it. Then you've got the engine going back into it. In fact, it'd probably be a redressing of the engine bay as well in between there as well, where
maybe
I put everything.
More powder coating.
And maybe more powder coating, yes, because it's
bound to find things.
Yeah, there must be something.
As long as it fits in the oven.
Yeah. Then redressing of the engine bay. Then we'll do the engine back in, and then it'll be will it start? Because it's a fairly major engine rebuild and gearbox rebuild, so I'm hoping that it starts up. And then if it starts, I'm hoping it goes forwards and not when I put it in first, it goes backwards really quickly, because that'd be
interesting
and unfortunate. So
It'd be
yeah,
quite fun though.
that's the plan. So stick with us. We'll do the little errands, and then we'll get on with a bit of welding.
Right then guys, we are back from our little errand run. Wasn't great, wasn't as successful as we wanted it to be, but I finally managed to find some gloves that don't tear when you put them on. And the DJI's decided that it's had enough. Then I've got new engine and gearbox mounts to go in as and when we're ready. And it'll be a case now I need to just put the Moggy on jacks.
Axle
I'm
stands.
gonna jack the Moggy up and put it on axle stands. Thank you. And then we will assess what it's like, and then hopefully we can dig the welder out from its sat in water.
Abode.
I mean, at the minute it's sat in water from the leaky garage, but electricity and water can only mean good things.
It'll be fine.
Yeah. So yeah, well, that's what we're going to do first. We're going to jack it up. It's far too windy to put the gazebo up. It seems like we've got wind come from nowhere, but it's not supposed to rain now, so we're going to leave the gazebo down while it's like this. And if it does start to rain, we can put it up relatively quickly, but I don't want to damage it because it's it's not mine. So yes, I've got a camera mounted on a head cam so I can look like a complete tool, but you'll be able to see what I'm doing. You're probably not going to see much of what I'm doing because it's hard to get in there, but we'll try and film as much as possible.
You'll see the before and after.
Yeah, you'll see the before and after. I will warn you now, my welds are not pretty. I'm not going out for these perfect welds. That's just, I'm not good enough for that. But my welds are always very strong, and I can dress them. I'm quite good at making, polishing turds and making crap stuff look good. So let's go with that. Next stage, jack it up.
Rolling.
Okay, so this is the level of idiocy that I go to film stuff, because the wife keeps telling me film everything, and a certain Mr. B. So we're going to film everything, and that's going to include me shouting and swearing and being generally awful because things have wound me up.
He does that a lot.
I do that a lot. Right, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to get into this really stupidly tight space, jack the car up. Now I might take the wheel off just so I can get underneath to have a look at the area in question. Now it's really, really windy. We have got new mics, and I'm hoping that they do a good job to keep the wind noise down. So we're also trying 4K, so it's probably going to crucify all of our systems, and everything will get hot. And I'm currently filming you filming me in 4K.
Did you ask me permission?
No, don't care about permission. So what we're going to do is find a place that we can jack it on where it's not going to be in the way, and then I need to get an axle stand underneath it, probably under the chassis rail at the front here, and that way we can assess the damage. Right, you just park on the corner like it. So
it's alright, Liam's ranting about watching a woman park.
Just winds me up.
It's novel.
I
All
don't
these
understand.
women drivers that give the rest of us women drivers a bad name.
Especially Mercedes drivers.
Oh, sod
Oh,
off.
look what she's driving. A Mercedes.
I'll have you know I am perfectly good.
Okay, so normally I wouldn't even bother putting axle stands under it. Well, I keep getting told off.
People seem to have this notion called health and safety.
Yeah,
And
they're right.
You did nearly take your finger off in the last one, to be fair.
I did, because I was an idiot. See, this is half of the problem when you film stuff. It takes 5 hours longer to do a job. Because the director of photography is always telling you where to stand,
Oh, shut
where
up.
to look.
Don't blame me.
Ooh.
Have you found a hole?
Yeah, that feels like carpet. So we're just going to do
But
the
is
right...
it the actual carpet, or are we on a repeat episode of the midget with carpet tiles for bodywork?
No, that's actually the interior.
Oh.
Right, well, I can get to that at any point.
That might be why I kept getting wet feet.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, that's carpet behind there, so that's going to be a job for another day. That's not going to get in the way of us putting like the engine and stuff in. So right, under we go. Oh, I can feel the camera dropping off my head. Oh. Okay, so where did I find the holes? Oh yeah, just there. Yeah, that'd be a hole. Yeah, that's definitely a hole. Good news though. The rest of it seems
Some of it
alright.
sounds solid.
So there's basically a strip of metal just there that looks like it's been patched before. Oh dear, oh dear. Oh well, it's not in an important place like where the gearbox bolts or anything, so...
Oh, bad things happened.
Eh?
Bad things happened.
Yeah. Oh dear. Well, good news is the rest of the chassis looks bad, it's just this bit just here, so I think we're going to have to cut out a section there and then weld stuff in. It's gone through at the side as well. Bollocks. To be fair, that middle bit's solid, so I could, you know the annoying thing?
What?
Angle iron would have been perfect,
Oh dear.
because I could have cut a bit out on the angle and weld the angle iron in.
Yeah, it was too thick though.
No, it was 2mm, there was the smaller bits. So I'm going to have to try cutting a little bit out of there and welding it in. Looks like she's been patched in about 70 places. So me patching isn't going to do any harm. No, it's only one side.
No, it's fine this side.
So it's just here.
Yeah,
oh, okay.
It's all solid, and
Okay, so it's
not that bad actually.
it's not quite as bad as I first thought.
No.
Okie dokie. It's gone through at the side as well. Bollocks. Okay, I've discovered another hole, and the bump stop is completely sheared. You'll see that up there, that bump stop's supposed to sit across the top here, and it's sheared.
And down there is
there's
a bit into the inside carpet.
Hole just there. That all wants patching, but that's all thin sheet metal, it doesn't have to be 2mm. So the good news is, well, there is no good news really, it's just lots of rot. But
Yeah, but it could have been worse.
yeah, it could have been worse. The actual engine bay is solid. I know it's got patches here, there and everywhere, but they're
solid patches.
Right, okay, I found my sheet of metal. I knew I'd got some in here somewhere, but I mean, it's just far too small. I've got far too much stuff. And the problem is when I say it's far too much stuff, everything is used. Everything that's in this garage gets used. So it's not like I've got too much stuff, it's not big enough. But anyway, by the by, this was used as a trial for welding, learning how to weld. This is probably a little bit thick. I think this is about 2.5 mil. Oh no, about 2 mil. Let's be precise, and we'll find out for sure. But what I might have to do, there's a little bit right at the top where that bump stop goes. I might see if I can take the bump stop off. And if I can, I'll weld a patch in there to fix that before we paint, because obviously if I have to grind a bit out, that means it'll wreck the paint. So right, we got here is, I've been conned 1.9 mil. 1.9 mil. Or if you're American,
include the cobwebs?
Yeah, or if you're American, that's about 9 bananas, I think. Yeah, 9 bananas. And then that one is exactly the same. Well, close enough for the girls we date. 1.79.
Oh, really?
1.8 on that, even though it's sold as 2 mil, but you know, we're not going to argue with point whatever. So yeah, what I'm going to do, we'll do that bit at the bottom first because it's a right pig to get to, but I can use this sheet, which means I can cut a section out. That's the best way to do it. Yeah, what I'll do first is I'll make a cardboard template. Sorry, I'll cut the bit out that's a problem. Make a cardboard template, then transfer it onto that. But that means that I'll be able to do it in one section. I'll be able to bend it and do one section. That'll be okay for
job.
little spot repairs.
So a few more welding jobs needed.
More welding
than I
expected. But the problem is that we're going to paint the engine bay, and if we're going to paint the engine bay, I need to do all of the bits that could be affected by the heat first. Right, so we've made our template. We've got CAD, cardboard assisted design. Now we've got 2 death wheels, and what I need to do is clean this steel up because it's been sat in here. It's so damp it gets rusty. So we don't need a big bit. We just need to clean up an area, then we can mark it out, bend it in the vise, get it right, and then it's ready to weld in, and I have to see if my welder still works after it's been sat in a puddle of water. So let's do that. There we go. So that's roughly right. Bloody goggles. I need my new Sharpies. There it is. I knew I'd got a new one somewhere. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to draw around this fairly roughly, because we're going to have to shape it. And then what you try and do is rock it in the same place, because you're going to cut this out straight. I would imagine that most people that are watching our videos know how to do this sort of stuff, and probably a better job than what I'm doing. But I'll take you through how I do it. So that's an outline of our little template. Now what we can do is cut this bit out. I can clean it up both sides then, stick it in the vise, get a nice straight edge on it, and then bend it. Might have to heat it up with fire and brimstone to get it a little bit softer so we can beat it across.
Lord of the Rings style.
Lord of the Rings, indeed. So we'll cut this out now and then go from there. I have actually got a metal nibbler.
It's not as much fun as an angle grinder.
Yeah, I mean the death wheel does make a slightly... I've got a nibbler. The problem is I found that it's so fast it just does that. But we'll use the angle grinder. Right, going in. So, without setting fire to myself, there's our bit of metal. So we can clean up the other side now, and then we'll have to, bloody hell, we'll have to shape it into our template, and then there's still going to be grinding left to do when we go to put it on the car, because we've got to get the shape right. So it's just a little bit of finicky work now. So I'll get this side cleaned up off camera, you don't need to watch me do that, and then we'll get to the bendy part. Right, so bendy time. This steel might be a bit too thick to do this, so I might have to heat it, but the idea is we just start to work our way across it. And you don't want to stress this bit here, so small increments, if you get what my meaning. Again, the perfect tool for this is a bender.
But I said I can't have one.
But I haven't got one, so a hammer and a vise is the next best thing.
You need a bigger garage before you can have multiples.
That's true. Teasing it over. And then hopefully you'll get something that resembles your template. Like so. Right then. It's a little bit worse than we first thought. However, I'll try and get you in so you can see what I've done. I'm afraid the light's fading away a little bit. I might not be able to get it in. So you can just see. I'll take a photo and I'll insert a proper photo on here, but basically I've welded the chassis rail back in, so that's all nice and solid. It's not the prettiest welding in the world, but it is solid. But we're going to do some plating over here. No, I know it's not the right way to do it. I know it's not the most ideal, and you should cut out a nice big hole here and cut it out there and then fold the piece of metal in, but I just want to make it watertight now. And we can do proper jobs later on. But that's probably going to be when I do the sill. I might need to replace part of the floor pan here, which means that this bit is going to get replaced anyway, which means I can cut it out and then redo it, because this bit here has actually been cut out and plated over before, so this is not the first time it's been done. That's what's left of the sill. It's quite...
Bad things have happened.
Mistakes were made. It's quite a bit worse than I first thought. Structurally, it's fine.
It'll be fine.
It's absolutely fine structurally.
She'll be fine.
It's just little bits. And you get Lego connoisseurs that'll be absolutely screaming about that. Oh my God, the box! Would be if I didn't keep moving it. This stuff is so thin, I can use tin snips. Okay. Eyes. Eyes. Bollocks. Yeah, so that bit's all patched now. It's not ideal. No, I know it's not great, but it does seal it in, stops any more water ingress going in there. I've cut the bits of rusty bits out, treated them, and then stuck panels over the top, so hopefully it'll stop it getting any worse. So that bit's done at least. All of this is filler. This is filler. So, oh, I don't know. What?
Sad face.
Yeah, I just don't know whether it's worth doing.
It's not that bad. You'll fix it.
Well, that's a new bit welded in, 2 bits there and there. Obviously you can tell because I've stitch welded it in. Yeah, if anything it's good and strong now. It doesn't look pretty, but it's underneath the car, and you know, at the end of the day, it's, as long as it's structurally sound, it doesn't really matter. So I'll give it a coat of paint now, and then that's the welding done. Right then, all done. So all the welding is now complete, apart from the sills, but I need to price those up and get some ordered. The driver's side sill is spot on. There doesn't appear to be any problem with it at all. Passenger side one is quite bad, but it's not gone to the point where it's going to cause us any structural issues. I just need to be able to do it. So I've done the bit on the chassis leg, that was the most important part, and then I've done the bit so to stop Eileen getting wet feet, and I've also done the bit where the bump stop bolts too, so it's all painted up. I've just got to wait for that to dry, and then I can drill holes to put the bump stop back in. So that's all done. So welding is complete for now. Next is going to be prep the engine bay, so that means taking as much of the stuff out as we can, and getting it ready for paint, so we can make at least the engine bay look pretty, and the outside will have to follow in the future. So thank you very much for watching. Please, if you can, remember to like and subscribe. It does help us out a lot. Keeps us motivated to do more for you. So we'll see you in the next one.